After the group saw members of the Order of Sidon at the Temple of the Oracle, the group tried coming up with a plan. During their discussion, Eleni and Lara heard some giggling. When the group stopped talking and tried to listen, after a few seconds of silence, everyone could hear the giggling. Kira told the group that she had never heard anything like it near the temple before, and that she felt something was wrong. Paying closer attention, Kaya and Kira noticed that something was moving with the mist, as if it were part of it. To dissipate the fog, Lyra grabbed Eleni and flapped her wings. When the fog disappeared, 4 creatures emerged from the mist. They were Mephits. Lyra immediately cast fairy fire on them, which outlined 3 of the 4 Mephits in different colors, making them very visible in the fog. Eleni cast firebolt on one of them, but unfortunately they completely absorbed the attack and just giggled, being immune to it. As they all rushed towards Lyra, Zark approached them and slashed one of them. Kaya also approached and used her new silver spear to spear one of them. Seeing the heroes fighting, Kira encouraged them, making them stronger. Lyra then took a dagger she had hidden and quickly stabbed one of them before hiding her weapon again. Eleni was frightened by the whole situation, so she stayed away from the fight and threw magic rockets at 3 of them, killing one. One of the Mephits tried to claw Lyra, but missed. Meanwhile, Zark jumped on one of the monsters and came down with his axe, killing it. Seeing this, Kaya attacked the remaining visible creature with her spear and fists. Lyra stealthily attacked the remaining monster again with her dagger, while Eleni panicked and ran towards Kira. The poet encouraged her, and Eleni threw a stone at the monster to distract it. But that didn't stop it from attacking Kaya, who felt her arm burned. Finally, they ended the fight and dealt the Mephit a final blow. As the heroes caught their breath from the battle, they heard the footsteps of someone coming from the temple. Someone must have heard them fight, because 3 soldiers were now outside, investigating the area. The group could hear them whispering, but could not make out what they were saying. Lyra decided to distract them by casting dancing lights. The 3 soldiers went into formation, protecting each other with their shields. When the lights moved, they stayed in the same position. But one soldier kept an eye on the lights. As they moved farther away, opposite where the group was, one of the soldiers talked to the other 2 and went back into the temple. The other 2 soldiers went back to the entrance of the temple, guarding it against any intruders from outside. Lyra moved the dancing lights toward them and into the temple as the spell faded. The 2 soldiers quickly turned to see where the lights were going, and Zark took the opportunity to impulsively throw his spear at one of the soldiers, impaling him in the shoulder. Then he shouted at them, "It's your fault!" Kira looked at Zark, surprised at what had happened, and smiled as she wrote in her scrolls. Kaya's face fell at Zark's impulsive behavior. She could relate to it, as she sometimes had trouble controlling her hot-blooded temper. Eleni took the opportunity to deal the last blow to the impaled soldier by throwing firebolts at him. Meanwhile, Kaya silently approached the remaining soldier, preparing to stealthily attack if the opportunity presented itself. Lyra aimed her crossbow at the last soldier, but with quick reflexes he managed to block the bolt with his shield. However, he didn't notice that Zark was rushing towards him to kill him, slashing him and opening his intestines. After killing him, Zark shouted in victory. From where he stood, he could finally see what was inside the temple. The Temple of the Oracle is located in a chasm, many leagues from the nearest settlement. As they descended into the chasm, the forest disappeared, replaced by steep walls of jagged rock. Warm vapors rose from cracks and vents along the floor of the chasm, filling the air with an eerie mist. They could feel themselves sweating from the heat and exertion. This massive temple had been built directly into the wall of the canyon. Towering columns supported a pediment carved from the rock face. A marble frieze of Sidon sat enthroned above the central columns, his black glaive in one hand. The inner chamber of the temple was dominated by a massive bronze statue of Sidon, seated on a throne at the rear of the basement. At the base of the statue was a rectangular pool that reflected the light from 4 large braziers into rippling patterns on the ceiling. There, Zark saw 4 more soldiers and a soldier who seemed to be their leader. He was holding a civilian with one arm. When the leader saw Zark, he threw the civilian to the ground, and the group prepared to attack. "Get the intruders!" he shouted. Zark immediately yelled to the rest of the group to inform them of the situation and get ready. Eleni approached the temple and used her sleep spell to put their leader to sleep. Meanwhile, 3 of the soldiers marched together in formation to the entrance of the temple. 2 of them threw spears at Zark. As the 2 weapons pierced him, he fell to the ground, unconscious. Still hidden in the mist, Kaya approached silently to quickly check on Zark. Seeing that he was still breathing, and with the soldiers closing in, she grabbed the bottle of oil Zark was carrying and threw it to one of the soldiers before disappearing again into the mist. She telepathically informed the rest of the group that the soldier in the middle was covered in oil and that they should set him on fire. Eleni relayed the information to Lara, who also approached and tried to throw her own flask of oil at a second soldier. Unfortunately, the bottle shattered next to her target. Eleni prepared her firebolt and threw it at the burning soldier, but he managed to avoid the hit. As the 3 soldiers approached Lara, Kaya threw her normal spear at one of them, killing him instantly. Lara tried to attack them with her dagger, but they managed to block and counterattack, knocking the siren out. Seeing Lara on the ground, Kaya focused on the 2 soldiers attacking her and threw her silvered spear at one of them. Unfortunately, he dodged, and the spear fell to the ground. Eleni focused again, and her firebolt reached the burning soldier. With half the group unconscious, Kira played the flute and brought both Zark and Lara back to their feet. While the soldiers were confused to see the siren rising in front of them, Kaya took the opportunity to throw one of her arrows at the burning soldier, killing him. Seeing the siren and the Minotaur ready to fight again, the soldier who had been near the temple returned to the temple and quickly slapped his leader to get him to join the fight. The leader saw Zark and rushed at him, attacking him with his spear. Although Zark felt weak, he managed to dodge the attack. Unfortunately, the last soldier near Lara managed to knock her out again after several attempts. Kaya, angry at this soldier, slipped on the ground and used the moisture of the fog to get close to the soldier. She then grabbed her silvered spear that was lying on the ground, and when she was underneath the soldier, she speared him from below in the area not covered by his armor, killing him in agony. As Zark dodged the leader's direct blow, the Minotaur became enraged and struck back with a fatal blow, slicing the leader in half. When the last standing soldier saw all his dead comrades around him in horror, he decided to surrender. Kaya tied him up. Zark tried to intimidate him into talking, but despite Zark's size and huge axe, the soldier didn't seem to react. Then Kaya grabbed his chest and slapped him, telling him he would have to answer her questions.